C-SPAN's local content vehicles are traveling the country, visiting congressional districts to look at the most closely contested House races in this year's midterm elections.
But I'd like to talk about the fact of where Mark Schauer is now. When he has his commercial that you may have seen, sitting at the Roxy Cafe next door to my old office, his office now in Jackson, and he says, 10 times a day I ask myself the question, what is Washington thinking? Well, the answer that comes from most of us, myself included, Mark, they're thinking exactly what you're thinking.
I must ask myself 10 times a day, what is Washington thinking? Bailouts for Wall Street, pay raises for Congress, spending your tax dollars on jobs in China. People are fed up, and so am I. That's why I voted against bailing out Wall Street, against raising my own pay, and against spending your tax dollars on creating jobs in China. I'm fighting to help businesses create jobs here. I didn't go to Congress to work for Wall Street or my party. I went to work for Michigan. I'm Mark Schauer, and I approve this message.
Congressman Schauer's staff repeatedly refused to give C-SPAN any information on his public schedule for this program. Therefore, all video of him in this segment has been gathered from other sources.
The candidates in this race, we have Democrat Mark Schauer, the incumbent. He's in his first term and is being challenged by Tim Walberg, a Republican who held this seat 2 years ago, who Schauer defeated. Walberg is looking to get this seat back. This is a rematch then of the 2008 race. These two candidates are very familiar with each other. In this race, jobs in the economy, like every district across the country, are the #1 issue. So what you'll see with these two candidates is they have very divergent views of how best to solve the issue of jobs in the economy. The other issue that we're hearing a lot about is Social Security. It seems whoever's talking about these ads that are making these ads that are going across the airwaves in this race, somebody's figured out that they think that the way to win this race is to basically scare seniors to death. So Social Security, unfortunately, has been a very big issue, and it's been a largely negative tone so far in this campaign.
Maybe Schauer's trying to hide his own vote to cut $500 billion from Medicare. Listen to Schauer caught on tape.
There are Medicare cuts.
Did Schauer really vote to cut Medicare?
There are Medicare cuts.
Let's save Medicare and cut Schauer. The National Republican Congressional Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You call Social Security worthless, Mr. Wahlberg.
And a Ponzi scheme?
And say you want to privatize our Social Security, Mr. Wahlberg.
You're gonna have to answer to us.
I'm Mark Schauer, and I approve this message.
You haven't given us anything to stand on and say, I have a plan. Now, it says on the advertisement that you want to privatize Social Security, and you say, well, we know how you stand. We don't know how you stand.
I want to secure Social Security, not privatize it. It is what it is. My mom's on it, you're on it, I will be on it. I don't have a choice. But let's secure it. I introduced legislation to secure it, to put a lockbox around it.
If you were to just watch these ads, seniors are very confused about what's going on in this race and who to believe, really. If you were to just watch these ads and not really have any other information other than what you're seeing on television, you would be led to believe that if one candidate gets elected, you're going to be out on the street and living in a cardboard box and eating cat food. I mean, these ads are just very despicable to the point where they're just very there's flat out lying to seniors about their views on Social Security and Medicare, and it's really doing a disservice to those here in the 7th District because they just don't know what to believe. In terms of the ad buys in this district, we're seeing a tremendous influence from outside groups. Some of it in light of the Citizens United ruling. We're seeing a lot of cash from sort of these third-party 501c groups that are pouring a lot of money into this race. The NRCC has spent more on this race than in any other district in the country. So far, they've spent about $800,000 on 2 ad buys here across the handful of media markets that are in the 7th District. Mark Schauer and the Democrats, the labor unions, the SCIU, AFSCME, they spent a considerable amount. But interestingly enough, the candidates themselves are only spending have only accounted for about 20% of the ads that have been put on television. 80% of that has come from outside groups.
That I don't vote because I don't know who to trust. And the ads, you hear all these different ads on TV and everything else, and so, who's telling stories, who's lying, who's telling you the truth? I don't, so I just listen to everybody else complain. And I don't say a word because I don't vote. So maybe someday, if the right person comes along, I will.
Probably the biggest challenge that these candidates are facing in this race is voter turnout and trying to get both sides. You hear a lot about the enthusiasm gap in this race and across the country. Republicans are fired up. This is a marginally Republican district. It's been represented by Republicans for some time. Here in Jackson, Michigan, this is literally the birthplace of the Republican Party. This is where the party was founded, many years ago. And so they don't take too kindly and aren't accustomed to having a Democrat represent them. So Democrats are really trying to get the vote out. Organizing for America has some of their field operatives here. They're making calls day and night, trying to get people to the polls. Republicans, the Tea Party is very active here in this district. The Tea Party Express has had their bus roll through town. This district has had been considerably impacted by the economy. The 7th District is heavily reliant on agriculture and also automotive manufacturing. We have a number of supply shops that supply the auto industry that are up and down the supply chain. And so we were definitely hit by the downturn in the automotive sector. But we also have a burgeoning healthcare sector. We've got green jobs here. We're the home to CMS Energy here. We've got Kellogg in Battle Creek. So there's the economy is definitely been hit. Well, I think the reason that this race is important across the country is because this is one of a number of races in which it's a rematch from 2008, and so a lot of the political observers see that this race, some of these other races, that the Republicans can easily pick off a number of seats, maybe not enough to get the majority, but close enough, and so they look to the next tier of races like this one, in which they're marginal districts where that they feel that if they get the conservative base to turn out, that they can flip this and get it back in GOP hands, and so that's where you're seeing a lot of this money. That's why the NRCC is spending so much money, more than any other in any other district in the country, trying to get this back into Republican hands.
Leading up to the November 2nd midterm elections, we're traveling the country and visiting congressional districts where some of the most closely contested House races are taking place. For more information on what the local content vehicles are up to this election season, visit our website, cspan.org/LCV.